Coming at you on this week's edition of Wildcat Weekly, the rugby team and some new and exciting changes for students in the next few years. All this and more coming up. Salutations and greetings, Wildcats, and welcome to this week's edition of Wildcat Weekly. I'm your host, Aaron Klein. You know, researchers have shown that there are many possible benefits for starting school later for high schoolers everywhere. Caitlin and Avery take a look into this possible change in the next few years.
District 204 has been contemplating changing the start time for high school students.
Read articles, we've seen newspaper articles on it, and really it's what we call best practice. It's something that we know research points to for teenagers. The older you get, probably the more sleep that you have, the better off it is. It's just been a lot of logistical issues we've had to work through to get to this point.
There are scientific reasons behind why teenagers should start school at a later time than elementary school students.
Well, melatonin is the chemical in the brain that kind of encourages sleepiness. And research has shown that in teenagers, it's actually released later in the night. So if you're not getting tired until 11 o'clock at night, but you have to wake up at 6 o'clock to get to school, you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need to get.
The new school start time comes with disadvantages as well.
For the betterment of the whole school, a later start works out great, and that might mean that some athletes come into practice early, and it might also mean that they don't start practice until 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night.
Lack of sleep affects everyone differently, but can negatively affect a student's performance throughout the school day.
If you are sleep deprived, you are not functioning at 100%, and it can be physically, emotionally, mentally, so it's harder to pay attention. It's harder to be alert. It's harder to remember information when you aren't getting enough sleep.
Hopefully the district can figure out the details to enforce this needed change for the students. And for Wildcat Weekly, along with Caitlin Jacobson, I'm Avery Champion.
In District 204, lacrosse is currently a club, but there's recent discussion to have it turned into a sport. Riley Lacrosse is into the story.
Lacrosse is a club sport within our district, but it is on the hot seat in the school board as becoming an IHSA sport. But there is more to consider than one may think.
Currently, the lacrosse is a club, as you know, but their club organization has like a state club and not necessarily sanctioned by the Illinois High School State Association, much like all the other sports are IHSA affiliated. We want nothing better to be able to provide opportunities for our kids, but I think at the same time we really have to look at our boundaries of our structure and our capabilities to be able to budget and afford these opportunities for our kids too.
Students involved in this club imagine the benefits of lacrosse becoming an interscholastic sport.
It's nice that it would be able to be recognized as a sport, so people, one, we get to use the stadium, we get to use NEQA facilities, but two, people might be able to start coming out to actually see the events more often. Now that other schools are being recognized as school sports, if we don't get sanctioned under IHSA, then we won't be able to participate in the playoff bracket, and we might not even be able to have a team.
Currently, lacrosse is entirely student funded, and we use it through fundraising, and our registration costs are super expensive. But hopefully, if we do become a sport, registration costs would go down, allowing for more people to try out the sport, and so you get the same benefits as being a sport here, and everyone else here is able to use the athletic trainer and the NEQA facilities.
The decision on whether or not to adopt lacrosse as an IHSA sport will be decided in late April or early May. Best of luck to both the girls and boys lacrosse teams on the rest of their season. And for Wildcat Weekly, I'm Riley Sanko.
There will be new rules implemented in the parking lot next year. Kyle skirts into the story.
Parking at NEQA has always been a privilege for upperclassmen, but due to not enough students following the current rules, new regulations will be put in place next year.
So we've been talking about new rules for the parking lot situation next year. We have a much bigger class this year as seniors, as you guys will be seniors next year, than the senior class now. This year, we've had an issue with people parking illegally in our parking lot. We have had between a junior and senior class close to 200 referrals from the parking lot, and that is way out of control. And we want to have people in there that follow the rules and obey what the school district has in store for parking. The people that have gotten a detention or PM school or Saturday school from this year's referrals will not be able to apply for a parking permit at Neuqua Valley. We contacted the Fry and the Remax slots and let them know that we're going to give them the names of the people that are not allowed to park on our campus because of the PM detention violations. And they're going to put you guys in a priority list, and you guys will be at the bottom of that priority list. There's going to be a lot of open spots. So we might even be going into the sophomore class for the lottery. So get ready, sophomores.
Be sure to follow the parking rules, Wildcats. And for Wildcat Weekly, I'm Kyle Ferson.
The rugby season is underway. Vaishnavi takes a look into the rugby team.
With the rugby season just starting, the coach and the team are excited for the season ahead and are hoping to excel at future games.
We look pretty strong this year again, so we'll be a state title contender. Our goal is always obviously to provide an environment where everyone feels confident and in their abilities and learning. But state championship is always a goal.
What makes the team stand out is their great team connection.
We're big on having all the players get on the field at some stage or another, for at least 15-20 minutes. So, and then the camaraderie off the field. We do after games we have a social function which we feed both teams and try and get the boys to mingle and get to know each other.
Even though the season has already started, there's still time to join the team.
We have an open registration, so we never close registration, so people can come today, next week, a month from now if they want to join. There's always open spots. We have varsity, JV and freshman sophomore teams, so right now we've got a squad of about 57 players, and ideally we'd like to have anywhere from 60 to 65. So we'd like to pick up a few more players if we could.
For more information, check the team's website, nvhsrugby.weebly.com, and check at Neuqua Valley Rug on Twitter for meeting dates. And for Wildcat Weekly, I'm Vaishnavi Kalyan.
There's an old tradition returning to Neuqua. Eden previews a new but old opportunity for students.
An old building that was once part of Neuqua will reopen starting the fall of 2017. The Frontier campus, located next to Neuqua, that closed 5 years ago after the 2011-2012 school year, will be available to seniors again starting next year. Faculty at Neuqua really want to focus on getting students ready for college, so Frontier will allow for a much easier transition into college for seniors in the future.
As being a former member of Frontier, I am ecstatic that it's returning. It's kind of like a senior campus, and just having a senior campus, it's kind of, a transition between high school and college, and as a result, it's very similar to a college-like campus over there.
Although it is a senior campus, not all seniors will be able to attend Frontier.
Some are going to need to have, for example, a minimum GPA of 2.5. We feel like that's a good benchmark for only accepting a student into that program that can be successful. We don't want to give freedom to students who are kind of ill-prepared to do that. Because you got to show up to class still, and even though you can sleep in, and it'll be great for a lot of students to do that. They can start class at a later time if they register for later classes. There still are some responsibilities and obligations that we're going to expect.
Unlike the regular class schedule at Neuqua, Frontier will offer classes in a block schedule.
Frontier will also feature a block schedule of Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. So that means students will go to a class on Monday, Wednesday for 90 minutes, and then Tuesday, Thursday for 90 minutes. And then Friday, there is no class on Friday. That's to give students a chance to catch up on their work, catch up on their sleep. So it's really a 4-day school week schedule at Frontier.
If you are interested in Frontier and are going to be a senior next year, make sure to see your counselor. And for Wildcat Weekly, I'm Eden Kosova.
This past weekend, Youth and Government went down to Springfield for their state assembly, where students took top offices including Archit Dar, who was voted governor, and Bernie Wang, who was voted Secretary of State. Congratulations to everyone involved. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Wildcat Weekly. Have a great spring break and an even better April Fool's, Wildcats.
Do you slide on all your nights like this? Do you try